We are on record this afternoon for a review.
Michael McFarland representing mother. Is she on Zoom, Your Honor?
For Rebecca Whitten.
Yes.
Rebecca Whitten, mother of the children.
Alexis Stang on behalf of Christopher Carter. Christopher, can you please unmute and state your name?
Christopher Carter, Lyric on Lila's father.
Ariel Berger here on behalf of Mark Kamen. Mark, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Kamen.
Okay, third review and permanency planning hearing scheduled for today. Mr. Howe.
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to meet with all 5 children in person this reporting period. First I saw the twins and the oldest KW at their home or their placement with Mr. Kameen in Wayne County. So I was able to stop by on December 3rd and got there kind of right before the twins got home from school. And this was actually my first time being in the home without the twins there. And I made some reports in the past. The twins are, they have their autism and they are a lot and move around a lot. So, but it was really nice to get to talk to Mr. Kameen and, observe him in a much more kind of relaxed setting and be able to have like a more in-depth conversation. So, I was able to see him, transition the twins off the bus and into the house, which, those transitions can be a lot for children with their needs. But he handled it really well. They went, they knew exactly what they were doing. They're going to go right and get a snack. I think both of them went right to the pantry. So you can tell that they're really well adjusted to this new routine they have. And, this is kind of like, their routine is now that they have their ABA therapy in place. They do their ABA therapy in the morning, go to school, and then come home from school and, eat their snack and do their kind of nighttime activities. And I think that it's really helping them. Since I've seen them, this was the most relaxed, calm, and, I asked if they were tired, but, the female twin said she was not. So she was pretty clear and adamant that she wasn't tired, but really doing well there with those twins and their needs and making sure that they're taken care of. But I believe it's in their best interest to remain in that home, and due to their needs and to their age, I did not get their wishes. While in the home, I was able to talk with the oldest, KW. This reporting period, we got some more information on how she was doing really in school. And, I think the report card was in the court report, but, it's not great. There's a lot of absences. And, we talked to Mr. Kameen about what was going on. And I think he is aware of these issues now, and he's taken some appropriate steps to kind of correct the trajectory of her grades, including like phone privileges, being in better communication with the school, and just making sure that he's checking in with her more on schoolwork that we would expect of him, and take care of these normal parental duties over KW. So the school also is offering her some academic support, and I believe that's daily. And I might be wrong in that, but I believe it's regular. And then she's also in a support therapy group that meets weekly at school, and she reported to me that she engages in that as well. Also of concern is, her counseling. There were some issues with getting a hold of her counselor, and, getting a report into the court report, and, just getting some information on how she's doing. So I had requested that Mr. Keeman go into the building, because I think it's just right down the street for them, and try to get some information. And he was able to do that. He found out that she actually wasn't attending her virtual counseling appointments. She would just go in the room and shut the door and not do it. So I think we found that out, and since then she's gone to 2 appointments, and Mr. Kamen will be ensuring that she attends regularly. I do have some concerns for her and her mental health, and obviously her grades as well. But I think it's really important that she's engaged in counseling, and I think they had set it for twice a month. I think that needs to be weekly, and maybe even give consideration to some trauma assessment or some other assessment to just get a better understanding of her mental health needs. I don't think that we've engaged her in one of those, and be able to line up services that will best assist her moving forward, because I do think she is struggling to a certain extent right now, and she wasn't engaging with those services. So, and we really don't have a professional opinion on how she's doing with her mental health, other than my observations and the workers' observations. But Right now, she still wishes to remain in Mr. Kamen's home. I believe that's in her best interest. You know, she's in 14. She is engaged in school there, and she's gonna be working to get those grades up and feel comfortable there. I look to Mr. Kamen to ensure that she's in counseling and that her grades do improve these next few weeks. I was able to meet with the two girls, LC and LC, in my office on November 26, 2025. The two of them just played with a few toys, and this was I think this was my first time seeing them in person and together and engaging with each other. I observed the older one to be very, artistic and organized. She made this rainbow out of a toy in my office, but she let me know that she was missing orange, so she could complete it. But and would line up with some of the observations that I've heard from the placement, that she's more the artistic one. She also recently lost a tooth and asked the tooth fairy to bring her a notebook so she could finish writing her book. So she's very smart and, academically and artistically oriented. The younger of the two was a little bit more all over the place, and she was just getting into everything she could. But I could tell the two of them have a strong bond together. They've been placed in, a couple different homes now and back and forth with their parents. So I definitely think that they, get along and play together really well. I talked to both of them about how their visits are going. They said that they really enjoy getting with their mom and siblings, and they also enjoy their time with their dad. I did hear some reports and some concerns about some visitation that I'd like to just clarify today, that before commenting any further, and I think we'll be able to get into that. But I believe that they're very well adjusted and situated in this home, and I think this placement is doing a great job making sure that they're really well taken care of. They're comfortable there too. Foster sibling was at the visit, and I watched both of them easily engage with her, as if it was like another sibling or a cousin or just like a close family member. But these children did not share their wishes due to their age. Thank you.
Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Richardson can be sworn in to provide her report.
Now to our witness stand. Taking her court report with her, just so everybody knows.
No objection.
And her hydration, her section.
I've seen, yeah.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Richardson, for today's hearing, you've prepared a court report. It has several attachments, so thank you for providing us with all that information. To the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to the report that you've written or any of the documents that are attached?
Just what Carson had mentioned, that I didn't find out until after the court report that there had been some missed visits with the therapist by KW. From my understanding, Mark has since rectified that situation to make sure that he's seeing her physically on the phone or on the computer with the therapist before he leaves the room for privacy.
Thank you for that update. And at this time, we have two children who are with their father, and then a court-ordered placement for the oldest child within the same home. Then the two youngest ones, they remain in a licensed foster care home. Is that correct?
Not the two youngest, the two middle.
Two middle, sorry, I apologize for that. Yes.
Yes, the two middle,
Okay.
LCW and LCW are in the licensed foster.
Okay. And as it relates to Ms. Whitten, what would be the current barriers to reunification for her and her children?
So as of right now, it would be housing, employment, and continued substance abuse treatment, as well as mental health treatment and medication compliance and review.
And as it relates to housing, the report indicates that she left against facility advice from the last place she was living. Do you know where she's living now?
She's at the Oaks, which is a shelter in Monroe, Michigan.
So she's still there, okay.
To my
And
knowledge,
as it
yes.
relates, okay, and as it relates to employment, looks like there was a change in employment last reporting period. She was gainfully employed at Meyer, and then this report reporting period, is she employed to the best of your knowledge still?
No, she is not. She lost her position at Meyer.
Okay. And then do you have any updates as relates to her substance abuse treatment and ability to maintain sobriety?
To my knowledge, we talked during the FTM that was held at the end of last month about her getting into intensive outpatient with Catholic Charities. To my understanding, she has not done that. So to my knowledge, she is not currently participating in any substance abuse treatment after she had left Harbor Lake.
The screens that are attached, the positives, I believe, were just for, and I might not have reviewed this too thoroughly, but looks like the positives were just for THC and norepinephrine, which I'm guessing that's a prescribed medication. Is that are either of those drugs a concern for you?
The marijuana would be a concern, yes.
And is that based off of the psychological evaluation summary?
Yes, in the psychological evaluation, it was very strongly encouraged that she abstain from any substances other than prescription drugs.
Okay. There are a few documents in this report that sort of highlight some concerns that I think maybe are new for Ms. Whitten related to her cognitive abilities. Have you addressed that with her?
So I talked with her about going to the Michigan Rehabilitative Services in Monroe to work with them as far as employment and independent living skills. To my knowledge, she has not done that, and I believe that's been a referral, not only this reporting period, but the prior as well.
And have you had to adapt any services or the way that you communicate or share information with her based on the concerns that there might be limited cognitive or intellectual functioning?
Yeah, for Rebecca, I make sure to remind her of things that are upcoming. I put together lists for her and email them to make sure that she has a list of the things that we talked about and priorities of tasks that she needs to get completed or work on. I also gave her a calendar to start writing down appointments on. And Orchard's Children's Services has been working with her on utilizing her phone as a reminder system, as well as using the calendar in there.
Wonderful. And then mental health treatment and medication compliance. What is your main concern in those pieces of her treatment plan?
It was reported to me that she missed a medication review in September, and then also was not in contact with her case manager, and her case manager could not get a hold of her. Since we've had the family team meeting, she has now reconnected with them and has had an appointment with both her peer support specialist and also her CMH case manager. So there was some time in there that there was a medication review appointment was missed, as well as some check-ins.
Okay. And is she receiving regular mental health treatment?
Yes.
Like therapy? Okay. Parenting time, the reports indicate things seem to be going fairly well. Is there anything you'd like to share with the court or highlight from those reports related to parenting time?
I think Rebecca does a really good job during parenting time. I think keeping a schedule and making sure that she is on time and confirming those visits is a struggle. But from my perspective, I think that has improved a little bit since I've been working on the case.
Okay. And then as it relates to Mr. Carter and his children, which are the middle ones, what would be his barriers to reunification?
Currently, it's housing.
Okay. And it looks like his parenting time has expanded during this review period. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay. And has that officially moved? Can you tell us where that stands today, his parenting time?
Yeah, it was increased from 2 hours twice a week to 3 hours twice per week, and those are unsupervised visits.
Are there any concerns about how parenting time with Mr. Carter is going?
I do not have any concerns at this time.
And to the best of your knowledge, he's complying with all of his release requirements and is still employed and doing all the other services required of him?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know, or is there anything the department can do to help or assist with housing for Mr. Carter at this time?
So as of right now, he has a housing choice voucher that was approved. He's just currently in the process of trying to find a place that's appropriate and then go from there. We could potentially help with first month's rent and security deposit, but he needs to find a place that accepts that voucher first. It's my understanding that he's currently working with a landlord to do that.
Wonderful. And then Mr. Kamen, his children are with him, and he's also providing care for the older child. Are there any other services that he needs to participate in or maintain engagement with?
I would like him to maintain engagement with team wellness. He's currently doing that now.
Okay.
As well as the school, more involvement with the school so that he's on top of the twins' needs.
The last review period, there was some concern about some drug screens that were positive for Mr. Kamen. Has that been a concern during this review period?
It has not.
Okay, wonderful. Is there anything, I know that there was also some talk about Mr. Kamen needing to establish a custody order for his children. Were you able to assist with that at all or figure out what needs to happen? I know that's kind of a awkward situation right now.
We were, Mark and myself were given the paperwork that was needed. I have not shared this with Mark yet, but I did start to fill out that paperwork, and I was gonna let him know where I was at with that. But
Okay.
yes, that's been started.
Okay, and that custody order, I believe, is out of Monroe County. Is that accurate?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I
No,
think it's Wayne.
Okay,
Wayne.
okay. I know that with the past cases, there were some custody orders established in Monroe, but I wasn't sure the progress on any of that or if you were able to do that. So thank you for that update. Let's see. And then other than that, is there anything that you would like the court to know about how the children are doing or anything else related to this case?
I don't think I have anything additional.
All right, well, thank you for your testimony. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Richardson. Would ask the court to accept the court report with the attachments.
No objections.
No objections.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions for this witness, Ms. Dang?
Yes, just briefly, thank you. Are you aware to the meeting that Mr. Carter has scheduled later today with the landlord about housing?
I didn't hear all that, Your Honor.
It cut out a little bit for me too. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Are you aware of the meeting that Mr. Carter has later today with the landlord to look into housing?
Yes, he did let me know via text that he had was supposed to meet with someone today.
Okay. And are you aware that there were some issues with the voucher that had originally been given to Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay. And then with regards to the psychological evaluation, is it your understanding that Mr. Carter did show up for the rescheduled evaluation, but it was Dr. Park that had gotten some things mixed up?
That is correct.
Okay, and he has another psychological evaluation then rescheduled for the end of December, correct?
I actually believe it was rescheduled for tomorrow for him, unless I'm mistaken. It was the 30th and then it was pushed up to the 10th.
Okay, so if the court report that was submitted said the 30th, that's just because it hasn't been
Correct.
updated into the state. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, and is it your understanding then if Mr. Carter gets housing, as soon as he's able to do that and it's appropriate and approved, then he would be able to be reunified with the children?
Yes, I think we would start discussing transitioning, yes.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Berger.
I have no questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland.
There's a possibility that any petition for custody will be rejected in Detroit because you have to list if there's already existing probate court case going down here. What would you do then?
I would not be a part of that process. I was just helping Mark fill out the paperwork.
I mean, if he's unable to proceed with custody because of our case down here in Wayne County, what, is that going to do anything to this case?
I'm honestly not sure of the answer to that. I
Okay.
don't know.
I understand. Well, you just said that a father's going to be getting some type of voucher or a living voucher. Will my client be afforded the same opportunity to get a voucher for independent living?
So as far as I know, Rebecca had some past monies that were due to that program that have not been paid. So I don't know that she's eligible at this time. But certainly she could work with the housing program in Monroe to see if there are other possibilities for her. At this point, I don't think that she has done that.
You don't know, which means you don't know yes or you don't know no. Am I correct on that?
I don't know if she's eligible. That's correct.
Explore eligibility for her as you have for the father.
I can, yes.
My understanding is that with the marijuana, it's not prescribed. That's your issue with that, correct?
As far as I know, she does not have a medical marijuana card.
So if she has a medical marijuana card, if she obtained one, then it'd be a prescription medication, it'd be okay, correct?
I would think so.
Okay. I don't see in the reports for parenting time where she's high or where it's affected her, it's not reported in the report, correct?
Correct.
A reprieve, the fans are off. The frequency of my client's visits,
Yes.
what are the frequency and duration?
So she sees KW and the twins every Monday for 2 hours. And then every Wednesday, she sees LCW and LCW for 2 hours as well.
Okay. Are you asking that the goal continue to be reunification?
For which
For
children?
my client and all the children?
I think the only change that we would be requesting for right now would be for KW and for that to be guardianship.
Guardianship would entail some type of parenting time for mom, correct?
I'm not sure at this time. I don't know.
You don't have a position on that?
I don't.
Well, she's having parenting time with that child right now, correct?
Correct.
Need to be in the best interest of the child, just to cut off any visits with her mom and the guardianship?
Really sure how to answer what that would look like when guardianship is in place. I'm sorry.
That can be explored sometime down the road?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can, this next reporting period, I can absolutely explore that and have an answer.
Okay. Since at least for some of the children, reunification is a goal. A lot of times this court typically gives 6 hours per visit per child. Is there anything, any obstructions why my client can't have more parenting time since the goal is reunification?
Well, I think that there are some barriers because there are 5 children. There are schedules to work out with two fathers, with school for the children, as well as transportation, as well as work schedules and visitation for Mr. Carter too. So it's just not been something that we've been able to figure out, getting each child to have the 6 hours per week. She is, as an improvement, now seeing KW every week, when prior she was not. So we have improved upon that.
Rather than the frequency, have you considered a longer duration to give mom more time?
Well, especially for the school age children, I don't see that being possible with school schedule as well as nighttime, bedtime routine.
Mom could also be helping them do some of their homework, which would be a normal routine, correct?
Yeah, she could absolutely be doing that.
Oh, we have holidays coming up. We have Christmas holiday and some other holidays. Might she be awarded some extra parenting time during the holidays when they're not in school? We have Easter that may come up before our next review, and we have Christmas vacation break. What are your thoughts for her on those?
We can certainly explore that. I don't know the answer to that right now. It hasn't been discussed as of right now.
Would that maybe be done at a family team meeting prior to the holiday vacation time?
We can absolutely discuss it prior to the holiday vacation time. Yeah.
I know there's a lot on my client's plate on the case service plan. And it sounds as though she's reprioritizing community mental health, right?
Yes, she's back engaged with them.
Where should is there any place where she should be prioritizing that she's not?
I think that she needs to engage back in substance abuse services. To my knowledge, she has not gotten with the intensive outpatient program with Catholic Charities, unless there's an update that I'm not aware of.
And that would be in Monroe County is where you want her to engage in that?
Correct.
Nothing further, thank you.
Mr. Howard, any questions?
Yes. As far as Ms. Whitten and KW, is there any update on the status of their therapeutic visitation?
There has not been an update. We have tried multiple times to get an update from the person that will hold the therapeutic visitation, and there has not been one. We would still like to have that happen, and I'm gonna have to really dive in and maybe see if we need to switch a provider.
And the plan is to have that be virtual?
Correct.
And is Parkside the provider you're referring to, or is it?
You know what, I'm not positive because it hasn't started yet. I apologize.
As I was in the court report, has Mr. Carter engaged in any mental health treatment?
Not that I'm aware of. He's supposed to be doing the psychological to see if he needs to move forward with doing more mental health services in the future.
And then in the court report, it indicated that Mr. Carter was living for I believe a short period of time with Ms. Whitten. Are you aware of what their relationship is?
I don't believe that they're planning together as far as like a romantic relationship. And yes, they were living together for a short time when Rebecca left Harbor Light. And Mr. Carter had to leave his apartment. So they stayed together in a hotel room for a week and a half, potentially something like that, before she went to the Oaks. But it's not romantic to my understanding. I think that Mr. Carter was trying to be helpful.
Is Mr. Carter still in the hotel?
Correct.
Is that something the department is helping out with, or?
We have helped. We have paid for 7 days at that hotel, but the rest of the time, from my understanding, Mr. Carter has paid for that.
And then for visits with Mr. Carter and his 2 children, what is the current format?
So currently, he sees them on Tuesdays. He picks them up from Kids Club, and that's for 3 hours. And then on Saturdays, he picks them up from the licensed foster care home and drops them back off for 3 hours.
There been any concerns with those visitations, with anything with maybe eating? for involvement with the children's mother?
I think that the licensed foster home is concerned that he's giving them more snack type of foods or like dessert type of things like ice cream during visits. He states that he's giving them like McDonald's, like chicken nuggets and French fries. And then from my understanding, when Rebecca was at Harbor Light, he took them to see her through a window whilst talking on the phone at the same time. Other than that, I don't believe there have been any other situations where the children have been involved that he's been a part of.
And is that a concern for you?
Yeah, it's a concern. We would definitely want him to be focused on his own parenting and time with the children when he gets it, since it is limited at this time to the 3 hours.
And now for KW, have you had a conversation with Mr. Kamen recently about what his plan is to be on top of her schooling and mental health?
Yes, he said he's gonna be more engaged, especially with the mental health services that she had been missing. He said that he's going to actually be visualizing now when the therapist is on the call before he will leave the room to give her privacy, as well as putting in place some phone privilege takeaways if she's not doing her homework or engaging in her school stuff to get the grades up.
Any redirect?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Any other cross-examination, counselors?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
One question.
Again, I don't want to forget about Ms. Stang. Ms. Stang, did you have any other questions?
Sorry, I think I talked at the same time as Ms. Berger. No, thank you.
Very good. Go ahead, Mr.
When
McFarland.
is Mr. Carter's psychological evaluation scheduled?
It was scheduled for the 30th of December. As of the time that I turned this report in, I believe that has been updated and that it's now scheduled for the 10th.
So he knows.
Correct.
Oh, that's all I care about.
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, Mr. Howard, did you have any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Thank you. Any other witnesses? Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, I'll leave it to parent attorneys if they would like to call their clients. Thank you.
Okay, witness testimony today, Ms. Alexa Stang.
No, thank you.
Ms. Berger?
Mark, would you like to testify today?
No.
Okay, thank you. We have no testimony then, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kameen, which county are you looking to file your custody or parenting time paperwork in?
So the twins were born in Wayne County and we live in Wayne County. So it's Wayne County.
Have you ever filed anything before on them? Is there anything out there already?
So I went down there when the twins got placed with me when they were first born, and they basically told me there was nothing they could do because I didn't have any paperwork. So basically, from what I understand, I have to file a complaint against Miss Whitten and then have a hearing and go that way about it.
Okay, so there's nothing pending in Monroe or anywhere else?
Nope.
All right, and have you in fact started that paperwork process?
I have not gotten the paperwork yet.
Okay. All right, Ms. Berger, would you be willing to work with him on that?
Your Honor, I already have. I sent it to him and to the caseworker. I believe the caseworker is helping him fill in the blanks and then she's going to bring it to him.
Right,
Okay,
Mr.
yeah.
Kameen. Yeah, if you want to stop coming to see me, that's the way.
I'm all about that.
Okay,
No offense,
Good.
no offense.
no offense taken. No offense taken. I think it'd be great if you could get your family organized and stay on track the way you have been. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Testimony today, Mr. McFarland?
I'd like to inquire of Ms. Whitten. Ms. Whitten, do you wish to testify?
Okay, Rebecca Whitten, do we still have you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out how to unmute. I don't think I need to testify today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
When you'd like us to hear from Mr. Howard?
Mr. Carter.
All right, Deputy Ames, if you could swear in Mr. Christopher Carter, he does appear to us by Zoom, and his camera does appear to be, on. Oh, there it is.
Mr. Carter, can you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Carter, were you able to hear Ms. Richardson's report regarding your parenting time with the two girls?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Do you think it is a concern that you're bringing the girls around their mom during your parenting time?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we went over it in my family team meeting. I shouldn't have done it. I know that it's not going to happen again.
Okay, and I apologize, I was not able to attend the meeting. When you do have the girls, what kind of meals are you providing?
Chicken nuggets and French fries, pretty much. That's what they ask for every time, so that's what they get. Miss Richardson said that there was concerns that I feed them snack food. I barely like that. That's not the case at all. We do go get ice cream, but I think that children should be allowed to have ice cream a couple times a week. I don't think it's that big of a deal. They don't eat candy all day long. That's not a thing.
Were you involved in any mental health treatment as part of your probation?
Probation or parole?
Parole, sorry.
Parole. So I did classes when I was away. Afterwards, no. Like once I was released, no, I wasn't required to.
If the psychological evaluation came back and recommended that you participate in sort of mental health treatment or counseling, would you be open and willing to?
Of course.
Nothing further.
Any other questions for this witness from our attorneys?
No.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Just one. Mr. Carter, if you get the housing that you're currently waiting to hear more information on, is it your intent then to get custody of the children if that would be approved?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Berger, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Mr. Howitt?
No, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are joined today by Ms. Leticia Rodriguez-Phipps, and she will be the ongoing worker for the family, I believe, moving forward after today, from my understanding. I believe Ms. Rodriguez-Phipps joins us from Monroe County and has worked with the family before. And so I just want to let everyone know that we can expect another DHS 69 coming through. Otherwise, Your Honor, I think that at this time, it's obvious for two of the children that custody order would probably be the most important piece, and to allow that family to move forward through a custody order. I know we might run into some issues with the guardianship for the oldest child, if that's going to be the caregiver, but I suspect we'll do what we have to do to work through those issues. Mr. Carter is also making progress, and it's good to hear that some of the concerns have been addressed. And I think with some ongoing monitoring and ensuring stability, that his children could likely be returned in the near future. As it relates to Ms. Whitten, it seems that this review period is a little harder for her, and especially not being in treatment, not having a job, and kind of in between housing and trying to figure that out. So I hope that she continues to take advantage of the support that's offered by the caseworker and the community services. But I think that given the limited progress at this time, parenting time, as is most appropriate for her. And we can see some ongoing benefit and stability just to ensure that we're not adding too much to anyone's plate and then looking at having to reduce it later on. I think that any concerns about holiday schedules or whatever can also be addressed in a family team meeting, and we don't need to use record time for that. And so with that, Your Honor, we would ask for a 90-day review with parenting time for the parents as previously ordered. Thank you.
Comments today, Ms. Stang?
You. We would be in agreement with the standard review period being scheduled, and my client obviously has made significant progress. He hopefully will have more information with regards to the housing piece after his meeting today with the landlord. And then if the department could assist him with first month's rent, as well as the security deposit, I think that would be very helpful for him as well. Other than that, we have no objections to anything else stated today.
Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client too would not object to another review period. I know that he is working on getting those things together that he'll need to file for custody. He does have a blank packet with all of the pleadings that he'll need, so, or at least the caseworker does, and he has access to those. So I would just ask that the new caseworker continue to work with him on that, and hopefully they can get those filed as soon as possible. Otherwise, I know that he will do everything that he says that he will do, and monitoring the oldest child more closely with school and with counseling and things like that. So I'm hopeful that hopefully we can come to some resolution in this case sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
I believe it can be implied that my client understands where this case needs to go, her expectations, and what they want from her. I guess my only concern is we have no children living in Lenawee County, no parents living in Lenawee County. We have now a new worker from Monroe County. I'm not sure why we're still here in Lenawee County if I believe it Ms. Rodriguez Phipps was introduced as being from Monroe County. Seems as though everything will be done through Wayne County. So I'm not sure why it would remain here in Lenawee County, quite frankly, Your Honor. That's my concern.
Mr. Howell?
Yes, Your Honor, I think starting with the twins, I think they're doing really well. Mr. Kamen has shown an initiative and an ability to take care of them and get them enrolled in some proper services in school. So I think that the custody agreement would adequately safeguard them. So I'll be looking for that. Mr. Kamen and I have talked pretty much at length about what I expect for him and what his plan is to assist with the oldest KW and her schooling and mental health. I'll be looking for progress in that as we work towards a guardianship, which I think the department has proposed and I would be in support of, and that would just be a epic guardianship, not a juvenile guardianship. I came in here with some questions and needed clarification on how those visits went with the two middle children and their father, and I'm happy with what I heard. It sounds like I just missed an important family team meeting, so I apologize. But I would be looking for stability after he receives housing, and just showing, that he's able to maintain that housing, because it's going to be a big difference. He was renting a room to going to, now he's got a full house payment and job. And I think there's, some minor things that'll need to be worked out by him, like transportation, childcare, feeding them around the clock. Not that I'm saying that, feeding them on the visits is a concern, but just, these more, habitual parenting practices that I think he'll need to, prove that he has stability and the capability for. I still would really like to see a psychological evaluation and where he sits on that. And I know there's been some delays in that, some his fault, some not so much his fault as this last one was proven to be. So I'll be looking for that in this reporting period. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. It would appear that the oldest child was perhaps not specifically addressed in our last permanency planning hearing. I'm addressing that today will establish our goal as guardianship. It's an epic guardianship with Mr. Kamen. He certainly has his work cut out for him. if he's going to be looking at filing for guardianship as well as custody. And so we wish him the best of luck in working on those things in the future. But placement of that child as well as his other 2 children with him does remain the safest and least restrictive for those children under the circumstances, especially considering that he's done well and continues to be a stabilized environment for them. I wish you luck also with the challenges associated with parenting a teenager and getting her to school and into her services, but I know she appreciates being there, so hopefully those efforts will pay off in the next report period. As it relates to the other 2 children that are in foster care, that is also the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. I would note, as it reflects both to Mr. Kamen and Mr. Carter, I'm well aware that you're under the supervision of 2 different courts right now. Mr. Carter for purposes of parole. There remain a lot of barriers there for Mr. Carter, beginning with housing, of course. We need to see that psychological evaluation. I know you had some services while you were away, as you put it, and some education classes, and you continue to do that diligently, which I appreciate. But please be aware that the court will be looking for you to really establish a stable, safe environment for these children, likely beyond the period of time that you're even supervised by way of parole, to ensure that that safety and stability is in place for your children long term. I don't want to have to go through this again, frankly. As it relates to Rebecca Whitten, I don't need to re-articulate all of the challenges that were outlined by the caseworker today, but it's certainly the case that there's a significant risk of harm in returning any of her children to her right now. She needs to tackle her housing, her substance abuse, stability, and frankly, just because you have a medical marijuana card doesn't mean that that's been that's copacetic with prescribed medications. Typically, in the cases that I've heard from treatment providers, use of THC complicates and can really be a large problem in combining that with drugs associated with treatment for mental health diagnoses we established in this case. So those are some concerns, and I appreciate that we're not seeing some of the positive drug tests that we did at the outset for some of the other perhaps maybe considered worse substances, to be kind of colloquial about it. But there's certainly a lot of issues out there still for her to overcome. So good luck in the next report period. The children will remain in their placements. That is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. We'll look at the case again in 3 months. It's in March. I would offer you the afternoon of Tuesday, March 3rd at 1:30. For your next review and permanency planning hearing.
Your Honor, I have a hearing in Monroe County already set for 1:30.
Well, tell them you can't go.
I don't think they'll like that answer.
All right. How about, let's see. I'll have to back it up to Tuesday, February 24th. I can give you 10 o'clock or I'm sorry, 9:30 or 10:30.
I can do either.
Either of those work for me.
No problems.
All right, so let's set you up then at 9:30 on February 24th for your next review and permanency planning hearing.
I ask my clients if she has a preference, Your Honor, if mornings or afternoons, if she can do.
Sure.
Ms. Whitten, are you okay with mornings or afternoon? Is that date okay with you?
Either of them work for me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, all right, good luck to you then, and we'll look at the case again, February 24th for permanency and progress on case services at 9:30.
Your Honor,
Yes.
after we get off YouTube, can we have Ms. Phipps give out her contact information? It should be
Okay.
the same. but-
Yes,
Verify my client's address and email.